Sex is the life force energy that runs through us all. Can you use sexual energy for your spiritual evolution? Or perhaps for emotional healing? Is it even possible? Clinical sexologist Dr. Martha Tirelessly will explore all these and more on Eros Evolution on OMTimes Radio.
Hello, and welcome to Eros Evolution. This is where sexuality and spirituality meets. My name is Martha. I'm a clinical sexologist based in Singapore, and my company is called Eros Coaching. That's eroscoaching.com. I'm available via face-to-face and also Skype, of course. And in every episode, I either talk about something that I feel listeners would be interested in, or I have a guest. And today I have a guest, and he is returning for the second time. So Reverend Paul Bagge is a sex and intimacy coach, sexual healer, bodyworker, CMT. We're going to check what's that. And an ordained spiritual minister based in Boston, Massachusetts area. Paul has been working with women and couples for more than 20 years, working primarily in the areas of repressed sexuality and healing from sexual abuse or trauma. Paul works with enhanced and heightened sexual energy to bring about empowerment and transformation. So largely self-taught, Paul has been honing and practicing his craft since he was a teenager, tirelessly studying the science of female anatomy and physiology. He has been counseling women about their elusive G-spot at the age of 18 and continued from there, helping women in all phases of their sexuality and expression of that sexuality. Growing up in a home where his mother was being abused, it was only natural that he would grow up to help women heal from such abuses himself. Dubbed the goddess healer earlier in his career by friends and colleagues, Paul has devoted his life to the healing and empowerment of female sexuality, as well as the nurturing of divine feminine energy. And we'll find out more about Paul in our show, and you can find out more about him and his work by going to his website, ecstaticsensations.com. He also has a new website, and it's called sensualreiki.org. And he, in today's show, the title is Raising Sexual Energy with Paul Bagge. And throughout history, humans have sought to cultivate their sexual energy for a higher purpose. And we will discuss in today's show how this is being done in the past and some ways it is being done today. We will talk about cultivating sexual energy for the purposes of healing, and then we'll segue into what Paul is doing nowadays. He's just about to start touring the country teaching and certifying practitioners in Sensual Reiki, a new form of Reiki that he developed. It's a modality that begins to tap into our sexual energy to amplify the healing effects of traditional Reiki. For me, as for myself, I'm actually a Reiki master, and so I understand what Reiki is all about, and we'll find out more in today's show. So let's welcome Paul. That was quite a mouthful. Hello, and thanks for returning for the second time.
Well, thank you for having me. I love being on your show.
I love you. So let's begin by talking about how sexual energy has been cultivated in the past.
Okay. Well, as you know, throughout mythology, throughout history, there's always been gods, goddesses of love, of sexual longing, of desire, of everything. In fact, one of your favorite gods, the Greek god Eros, god of love and sexual desire. There were monuments built to these people. There were I say people, but to these deities. There were structures. There was palaces. There was everything to adore these gods and goddesses via human sexual energy. There was practices, ceremonies, pujas, to cultivate that energy and use it to worship these deities. Sometimes it was for purposes. Sometimes it was for purposes of asking for, fertility of crops, fertility of soil. Other times it was for fertility of family. But they all, the fundamental thing is that they all believed, all these cultures, all these societies throughout history believed that through sexual energy it was a way to get closer to or worship the gods.
Beautiful. Great. So you mentioned Greek times. How about Tantra and in India?
Sure. India, actually all over Southeast Asia, Hinduism, Buddhism, Taoism, there is some degree of teaching of sexual energy and its cultivation and enhancement to become one with God or source or whatever you would like to call, put your deity in here. But, yeah, to cultivate that energy, to create that oneness with everything. And that goes back thousands and thousands and thousands of years.
So they would cultivate their sexual energy through pujas and rituals, you're saying?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, they would have ceremonies, pujas, rituals to bring that focused energy together for whatever purpose that particular celebration was about. However, it was generally involved sexual energy and the amplification of that to get what they wanted or to worship a god, goddess.
Yeah, that's a great summary of how they used to do it. And I suppose they would do it through an intermediary like a priest or priestess.
Well, yes, priestesses more than likely back in that time, but there were priests, there were specific heads of tribes or medicine men, shaman, whatever term you want to use. There was somebody generally appointed to be an overseer of that.
Okay, thank you for that. And how about for modern times?
Well, in modern times, we go back to Tantra. We still have Tantra. And one of the mainstay teachings of Tantra, especially modern Tantra, is that cultivating of that sexual energy to become one with spirit, to become one with God. We also still have in modern times sex magic that is done by pagans and witchcraft, where focused sexual energy is sent out in the universe with a specific intent and a belief that you can master this energy and create what you want, manifest what you want through this focused intent.
Great. And how is this different from the past?
Well, there's a lot of ways it's different. I mean, now we have modern technology, we have science. Back then, there was a lot of things that were so very, very much unexplained to the people of the times. Like, say, for example, a solar eclipse. To the people of the time, the gods came and took the sunlight away. Why did they do that? We need to appease them. We need to have some type of ceremony to appease them and bring the sun back. I mean, now here in 2016, we know a solar eclipse is a solar eclipse. It has nothing to do with the god. However, we still have our own spiritual practices and our spiritual beliefs that we want to do with our sexual energy, some type of ritual, some type of, I can't think of the word I'm actually looking for, but some type of celebration of that energy to achieve what is not as primal of an objective like we had then, but now it's usually more or self-developing.
So can you explain a little bit what self-developing means to you?
Well, okay, in modern day spirituality, a lot of it is going within. A lot of it is seeking change inside yourself and to develop yourself. We can do that through our sexual energy, especially with if you want to go back to the ancient teachings of Tantra that talk about developing yourself through this energy, those practices are still being used today. It's through our own sexual energy, we find out so much about ourselves. We find out.
So we have So we have a break now, and we'll continue after this break. This is really fascinating.
Your conscious lifestyle on steroids. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM. Host your show on IOM FM, the radio network of OMTimes Media, one of the more recognized brand names in the conscious community, and is backed by the extensive marketing reach of OMTimes. Hosting a show on IOM FM immediately connects you with our extensive dedicated community.
Hi, I'm Kelly Fox, host and astrologer of The Astrology Show. Each week, I'll give you access to the current transits, which are a valuable tool that provide astrological information to help unlock the potential each of us has. Understanding the stars can help steer us in the right direction to make better informed choices. So if you're wondering what's going to happen in your week ahead, be sure to tune in to The Astrology Show for guidance. Mondays at 9 p.m. Eastern Time.
It's 6:42 p.m. Time for Steve Plotto and his son Dylan to do the dishes. They talk about everything from the yuckiness of girls to the awesomeness of his soccer team. Sometimes they don't talk at all. Then, hey! The dreaded splash fight. It's Dad o'clock, and it's the best time of the day. Because the smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
And welcome to Arrow's Evolution. This is where sexuality and spirituality meet. In today's show, we're talking about raising your sexual energy with Paul Bagge, and you can find him at Ecstatic Sensations. That's ECSTATIC sensations.com. And his email is tantraviking@yahoo.com. Just before break, we were talking about how humans have been cultivating their sexual energy for a higher purpose in the past. And this included pujas, rituals, and ceremonies involving priestesses and priests, heads of tribe, medicine men, shamans, whatever you want to call it. And they would essentially be using sexual energy for the purpose of getting closer to God, to be one with God. And in modern day, I'm just summarizing what Paul said, and in modern days, we are still using Tantra, we're using sex magic, and we are using focused sexual energy for the purpose of mastering ourselves. And the tendency nowadays is that we are more self-developing. By that, he means that we are going within to seek and cultivate our spirituality. So, Paul, am I summarizing everything okay?
Everything's great.
Okay, so is there anything you'd like to add to what I've just summarized?
Well, our sexual energy is the strongest force that we as humans carry inside our body. And it's also the strongest force we have for transformation and for change. It's the same energy as the creation of the planets, the creation of the universe. It's the same energy as Mother Nature and all its creation. It's that same energy that is inside of us. Now, we can either let that sit dormant, ignore it, or we can use it and cultivate it and nurture it to bring it to its fullest potential, which generally is some type of self-transformation or some type of self-empowerment.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
So how do we do that?
How do we do that? Well, there are thousands of different ways to go about doing that. You could take the teachings of the ancient tantrics, and you could follow that. There's 100 different variations of that, and that has evolved over the years to a bunch of different types of tantra, a bunch of different ways of celebrating self and your sexual energy. You could follow the ways of the ancient Aztecs and Mayans, which are tougher to find through history and teachings, but a lot of it is the same. It's that same energy. There's a man called Drunvalo Melchizedek that speaks of something called anking, where you raise the sexual energy up through your body, up to your crown chakra, and then bring it back down again. And this revitalizes you via your own sexual energy. There's teachings out there. There's teachings out there, and we do have the beautiful thing now known as the internet, where you can search for these and find almost anything you want. But for somebody who truly wants to do this type of self-development, the information is out there.
Yes. So when I talk about raising sexual energy, my friends would immediately start talking about Kundalini Yoga. What's your opinion about that as a way of raising sexual energy?
That's actually another perfect example of a way to go after that energy. Kundalini Yoga works with, Kundalini is said to be this big ball of energy that resides at the base of your spine, and it coils up your spine as it rises, invigorating, revitalizing, healing. It's known as the serpent, and in many, many cultures, the serpent is referenced as that energy that raises up your spine. Also, the medical symbol, I can't remember what it's called off the top of my head right now, but it's the staff with the two wings, and there's two serpents that climb up that staff. That is said to be the Kundalini serpent. So Kundalini Yoga is a perfect way to work on that energy.
Beautiful. And I'm very curious, what is the way that you teach?
The way that I teach?
What's your method of raising sexual energy that you teach?
Well, I have a couple of different disciplines that I use. I use aspects of Tantra. I use some earth-based aspects of Native American teachings and the energy of Mother Earth and nature. I also use a lot of Reiki types of energy to build through the chakras and fill the whole body energetically that way. I created my own modality, which you briefly touched on in the intro, called Sensual Reiki. And what Sensual Reiki is a combination of massage, Reiki, and Tantra. The tantric aspects of healing and empowering through sexual energy, plus the more commonly known Reiki energy, and massage, which relaxes you, revitalizes you, invigorates you, and it also detoxes you and gets your circulation going. I've combined all three of these things to create another form of healing that works with sexual energy, and basically it's sexual energy that I like to say turbocharges or kickstarts the rest of the energy work that's going to happen.
How does it do that?
Well, okay. Reiki Reiki is basically two words smushed together. R-E-I means life force, and Ki means energy. Okay, Ki, the Japanese form of energy, Ki.
Yes.
Okay, so we have that bioenergy work that we're using to begin with. Now, again, like I said before, sexual energy is the most powerful force that we carry inside our body. So to be able to tap into that and use that to enhance the other form of energy work, the Reiki that's going on, just makes it that much more potent and reaches on a much deeper level than the regular Reiki would. It reaches at a more primal level at our core and the essence of who we are as humans, as creatures of creation. It's a sensual massage, so everything is slowed down and softened. The sensual massage and massaging of various erogenous zones. There's no direct genital stimulation. However, there is stimulation around the genitals. So just in that, by stroking these erogenous zones, by starting to tickle at these energies, that's enough to amplify and turbocharge the Reiki. And it has tremendous results.
So I would imagine some people... Sorry, go on.
No, go ahead. I'll get back to that.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say that I would assume that some people would start getting turned on. And what you're saying is the technique is just massaging around the genitals, but not directly. So the practitioner would refuse to do genital stimulation.
Yes. The person who's on the table, the receiver, is either nude or minimally draped, meaning the genital areas are covered. Now, the idea is to create some stimulation. There is some little degree of being turned on that you're shooting for. However, it's not being done with the focus of trying to raise that energy for orgasm or anything like that. You're just wanting to tap into it just enough to exhilarate, to create that deeper feeling of relaxation, where you can let go more, and to use that little bit of a kickstart to get the rest of the energy moving. You're also tapping into this very, very potent energy that lies within us, and it has incredible healing effects as well as rejuvenating and revitalizing.
So once you've activated that energy and amplified it as a kickstart, how is it being used for healing then?
Well, it's raised up. In any traditional Reiki, there are basic hand positions on the energy that you work on. We utilize those hand positions plus the 7 main chakras in the work. So we focus on those energy centers in the body.
Yeah.
So the client, whatever it was that they're coming to for, if they're just coming for deep relaxation, they want the most relaxating type of massage they can get, that's easy to do with this. If the client is coming to you because they've got some other work that they want to be done on a deeper level, this is a great way to start tapping into that, and you can get into it more than you could with traditional Reiki.
Great. And
go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was just going to say those energies being awakened while you're on the table and receiving also have the effect of being very empowering, that you are getting something that you deserve while you're on the table, or that you're meant to feel this good. So that in itself becomes very empowering.
Yes. I think for a lot of us, we are so used to feeling okay and or bad, and we don't really understand what feeling good or great or feeling the way we deserve to feel feels like. I know I felt that for a long time because I'm sensitive to gluten my whole life, and I didn't know what great felt like until I got off gluten.
Right. And sometimes it's just a question of pushing yourself just that little bit further to find those answers, or to find what you didn't know was there, and then it all comes together.
Beautiful. So we're with Paul, and we're going to discuss more about how to raise your sexual energy after this break.
Free your mind with OMTimes Radio, IOM FM. OMTimes Magazine is one of the leading online content providers of positivity, wellness, and personal empowerment. A philanthropic organization, their net proceeds are funneled to support worldwide charity initiatives via Humanity Healing International. Through their commitment to creating community and providing conscious content, they aspire to uplift humanity on a global scale. OMTimes, co-creating a more conscious lifestyle.
Hi, this is Julie Geigel.
And I'm Alicia Isaacs-Howes.
And I'm Catherine Glass.
And we're the Psychic Angel Channelers. You can find us every week here on OMTimes Radio at Angel Talk Tuesday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time.
The angels have heard your call and are here to help.
Are you ready to receive?
Remember your magnificence with Angel Talk Tuesday.
There is no death, only a change of worlds. Chief Seattle. Deborah Livingston is an award-winning intuitive psychic medium whose international services include mediumship, spiritual assessment, animal communication, and spiritual mentoring. She is a published author and a trained shaman. Deborah provides evidential messages from spirit and departed loved ones. Learn more at deblivemedium.com. That's DEBLIV medium.com.
I want to thank my mommy for loving me so much,
for taking me to the doctor when I broke my foot,
for leaving me alone when I wanted to be alone.
And now, as a grown-up, I'm thankful for being able to take care of you, my dear mom, for taking you to your therapies, for understanding that sometimes you simply want to be alone.
Roles change without us noticing. That's why AARP gives you the information to provide even better care for your loved one. Visit aarp.org/caregiving. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
And welcome to Eros Evolution. This is where sexuality and spirituality meets. You're listening to our show on the OMTimes Radio Network, and you can share this show with your friends by going to this link, omtimes.com/mobile. With this link, your friends will be able to listen to this show without needing to download any app. We are with Paul Bagge, Reverend Paul Bagge, and he's an ordained spiritual minister based in Boston, Massachusetts area. He invites women to go within their holistic body and empower their true feminine sensual selves. He provides a safe, nurturing, and sacred space for the exploration of their natural sexuality to heal and awaken their lives. And if you'd like to find out more about Paul and his work or book a counseling session online, you can visit him at aestheticsensations.com. And it is also the same for his Facebook page, Aesthetic Sensations. And his email is tantraviking@yahoo.com. He has a new website, and it's called sensualreiki.org. So tell us more about your new website, Paul.
Okay, well, sensualreiki.org is a website I put together to support this touring of the country that I'm going to do, teaching my modality of sensual Reiki. On there I have an overview of what it's all about, what the training schedule is like, who it's open to. I'm actually It's a certification course. However, I'm only certifying people who are Reiki 2 or above. Others are welcome to take the course and still get all the same information. However, they just won't have any certification as a master practitioner in Sensual Reiki. Also on the website, there's a calendar of where I'm going to be. I've got 7 cities that I'm looking at right now. However, none of them have been nailed down just yet as far as a venue or the actual date. But I'm looking to be on the West Coast in Berkeley, California, Salem or Portland, Oregon, not sure exactly which one yet, Seattle, Washington. Then I'm also looking at being in Chicago, and here on the East Coast, I'm going to be, actually here in New England where I am, I'm going to be in Vermont and Providence, and then a little further south down in New Jersey, and I'm looking towards North Carolina and Florida as well. And that will be on the site as soon as those dates are nailed down. That'll be up there so everybody can see where the trainings are at and to purchase the program and course and be trained as they like. I'll also be doing private sessions in each one of these cities to help promote it and to get people more informed about what it is that I do and what Sensual Reiki can do for them.
Awesome. That's really great that you have all these offerings and travel dates coming up. I'm wondering, you're combining all these things that you've learned and, massage, Reiki, Tantra. How did you do this, like come up with all these things, put it together? What was the process behind it, and the importance in this new practice that you are offering now?
Sure. Well, as you know, I've been a sex and intimacy coach for 20-plus years. About 10 years ago, I went to massage school, became a massage therapist, and I actually had a spiritual awakening at that point, too, and that started me in the direction of learning about energy. Well, so combining the energy work, my knowledge of sexuality, and then the body work is kind of where it started there. It was after that I started developing what I thought would work through research and practice and research and practice, and I discovered what was working for me and my clients. I actually put this whole thing together about 5 years ago as Sensual Reiki, and I put together a 44-page manual, and I was going to teach it then. However, something was still kind of missing. It really didn't feel right. So that never happened, but it really wasn't until recently that my beloved, my lover, friend, partner, everything, I taught her how to do this type of work, and while she was working on me, and she has an incredible relationship with Spirit, Creator, whatever you want to call God, Goddess, and she actually channeled the symbol that we use in Sensual Reiki. And it's more, the symbol is more of a direction of the way we flow the energy through the body. And since we've added that kind of brought it all together. And it brought it to a point where I knew that it was now ready to start teaching to people as something duplicatable that they can learn, they can do, and bring it out and start practicing it themselves. So 5 years ago, I started putting it together, and finally, here we are 5 years later. It's now been perfected, and it's at a point where it's duplicatable. I can bring it out there and make sure that people are trained in the way that I know it works so that they can go out and do the same thing again, and everybody can benefit from Sensual Reiki.
Beautiful. I'm so happy to hear this. So I have a question about this. Why is it important to raise sexual energy?
Well, okay. In our society today, there's all kinds of stigmas still around our sexual energy. Depending upon what age you are, unless you're maybe 20 years And actually, I can't say that either, because even modern society today, we have our stigmas around sexuality, sexual energy, expression of that energy. But anybody who's like middle-aged or older, we've been told since an early age that sex is something that's dirty, that it's got you to be ashamed of, or procreation is its own purpose, only purpose, and society and culture have dictated that too. And a lot of people, that has somehow stuck inside them as some type of blockage around freely expressing who they are. So it is important to recognize that within yourself, who you actually are, what actually pleases you, what does it mean to freely express your sexual energy, which, your sexual energy comes from your Sacral Chakra, which is also your creative center. So when that energy is stuck, or if that energy is dormant or not addressed or something, then the potential of your Sacral Chakra isn't being realized. The potential of your creativity isn't being realized. And that energy, in essence, is your essence, I should say, because that is your potential as to who you are. So to work with this energy, you're really working with the truth of who that person is on the table. When you start tapping into these energies, you're working with that individual at that very base, primal thing of who that person is as a human being. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's important to unblock that energy.
Well, it can do so much for us to cultivate that and nurture it. If there is a problem, it shows up in the rest of our lives. It shows up in our relationships. It shows up in what we are creating for ourselves, and in the aspect of the law of attraction. You know, what we put out there is what we get back. So to cultivate and nurture this energy, it's empowering. We change ourselves, and we change what we bring into our lives. We change the way we are perceived in the world, and we change the way we feel about the world too. Because if we're happier, then we're going to look at things in new ways. Because life is beautiful, things are great. We're not always going to be down about everything, and that again, changes the law of attraction, changes what you bring into your life. If you're confident, empowered, happy, you're going to bring good things into your life. You're going to bring what you want in there. Same thing with relationships. If you have a poor self-esteem, then, for whatever's causing that self-esteem, then you're going to attract people into your life that aren't going to be treating you the way you should be treated. And that all of that can be changed via sexual energy.
Beautiful. So I understand now the importance of connecting with our sacral energy, and it's a big part of who we are, the truth of and our essence, and also being able to realize our potential. I get all that. I'm just playing devil's advocate and asking now the importance of raising that energy.
Raising it. Well, generally, unless we're doing some type of work on it, it kind of sits there, and it just kind of sits there and lies.
And be stuck.
Yeah, it lies dormant. So we need to tap into it to nurture it and cultivate it and raise it to get these desired effects.
Got it.
Yeah, to create that better sense of well-being or that better sense of vitality, to be more free-flowing in our bioenergy, to be more free-flowing into the energy we're putting out into the universe and what we're getting back. And also it has incredible healing powers as far as clearing our energy field to get rid of the stagnant energy and bring in new and thriving and vibrant energy to help heal, to help regenerate and transform.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for explaining it this way. I have not heard it being explained so clearly. I'm getting a lot out of today's show already, and I can't imagine what we're going to say in the next 15 minutes after this break. But we'll think of something, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
This is really awesome. You are so good. So, yeah, let's have a break and I think of more questions.
All right.
Bringing you the best of the conscious minds in the world. OMTimes Radio, your conscious lifestyle on steroids. The number one reason girls drop out of school in sub-Saharan Africa is lack of access to feminine hygiene products. The Pads for Schoolgirls Project, an outreach of Humanity Healing International, is changing this paradigm by setting up sewing programs at schools, teaching girls a vocational skill, while producing the reusable pads that help keep them attending classes. The girls pay it forward by making and giving pad kits to other girls in need. To learn more, visit humanityhealing.org. Humanity Healing is where your heart is.
Come heal yourself. What is healing? Healing is nothing but connecting with your all-knowing higher self that already has solutions to all your problems and is always there to guide you. Through this show, we help you to connect with that you are and tap into that innate potential you have to transform your life and fly high. Please join me, your host Monica Goyal, every Sunday, 7 p.m. Pacific. Namaste.
Hi, this is Christina Ricci with RAIN. Every 2 minutes, another American is sexually assaulted. If you or someone you know has been sexually assaulted, you are not alone. Help is just a call or click away through the National Sexual Assault Hotline. Please call 1-800-656-HOPE, that's HOPE, or visit RAIN.org, that's RAINN.org.
Brought to you by RAIN and this station.
And this is the last segment of today's show. We're talking about rising sexual energy with Paul Bagge, and you can find him at aestheticsensations.com, and he has another website called sensualreiki.org, and his email address is tantraviking@yahoo.com. Reverend Paul Bagge is a sex and intimacy coach, sexual healer, bodyworker, and an ordained spiritual minister based in Boston, Massachusetts. He is going to start touring the country teaching and certifying practitioners in Sensual Reiki, a new form of Reiki that he developed. So, Paul, just let me know, you wrote on your profile CMT. What does that stand for? Certified Massage Therapist?
Nationally certified massage therapist. I don't hold a license in any state. I'm just nationally certified.
Awesome. Okay, so that clears up what CMT stands for me. So we've been talking about what your new modality, Sensual Reiki, is about. We have talked about the importance of connecting with our sacral energy and rising our sexual energy. And so I want to find out a little bit more about this training that you're doing. Do you actually need to be a Reiki practitioner in order to sign up for Sensual Reiki?
Absolutely not. No, this is open to anybody who wants to take the training. I expect that there's going to be couples who want to learn how, because I'm also teaching sensual massage as part of this course. So I'm expecting there's going to be couples who are going to want to learn to do it so they can practice amongst themselves and deeper their intimacy. I believe this will also appeal to massage therapists who want to take their practice a little bit further, and really any type of energy workers or energy healers who want to learn a new modality. It's only, however, people who already have a certification of Reiki 2 or above that I will be giving the attunement to and certifying them as master practitioners, because they already have a very strong background in energy, and I want to take them and certify them so they can go out and do it, but anybody can take the course. The course itself, is going to be a day-and-a-half long intensive. What I plan on doing is Friday night, maybe from 6 to 9 or 7 to 10, I have 6 classes that I'm going to be teaching. Ethics and boundaries, the systems of the body, muscles and flesh, sensual massage, the 7 chakra system and the meridian system, and also talking and teaching about sensual sexual energy. The ethics and boundaries are very important because, you know, the people who are going to be getting on the table, like I said, they're either going to be nude or minimally draped. So a lot of times it's going to be, it took somebody a whole lot of courage to get up on that table. And they're in an incredibly vulnerable position right now. So I want to make sure everybody's ethics and boundaries are where they should be in order to practice this type of modality. Now, if this is something that's going to appeal to a massage therapist, she has already had ethics and boundaries when they went to school. So they should be used to this type of thing. But for others, you know, who say maybe somebody is a Reiki practitioner, has never been taught ethics and boundaries, never really had people who are nude and that vulnerable on their table, I want to make sure they know how to deal with this. Systems of the body, just like in massage school, again, you need to learn what's underneath what you're working with. As far as like massaging the abdominal area, well, your abdominal muscles are actually attached to your stomach, and they need to be moved in a certain way, or you could cause somebody to be constipated. So I want to make sure that's all addressed and taken care of. Muscles and flesh. Well, I'm not training anybody to be a massage therapist. I don't have that kind of power, and I wouldn't want to do it anyway. But I do want the people I'm training to know what's under the skin, what it is they're actually moving around. So I'm going to teach them about muscles, and then I'm going to teach them about flesh. I'm going to teach them where the most sensitive areas are, where the somewhat less sensitive areas are, how to move the flesh. I'm going to teach them sensual massage, so they're going to be learning about different erogenous zones and different areas that cause pleasure that they may not have even thought of before, because maybe, you know, their partner wasn't sensitive there, but somebody else could be. So I'm going to be teaching that. And then, of course, I'm going to teach energy, the 7 chakra system, and the meridians based on Chinese medicine, the flow of our energy and how that's manipulated. Same way acupuncturists manipulate it with needles, we can manipulate that through our own energy work. And then, of course, sensual sexual energy, what this energy is, the power that it holds, and how we can use it for empowerment, transformation, and healing. So I'm going to teach that on the first night in like 3 hours. They are going to receive a manual, so it'll all be covered in the manual. This will just be an overview and make sure everybody's got a firm grasp of it. And then the next day will be 9 hours of hands-on workshop where everybody works on each other. So I have it right in all the information that I have on the websites and everything, that anybody who's taking this course can expect to both give and receive. They're going to be on the table learning what this modality feels like to receive, as well as learning what it is like to be the practitioner and be able to give this type of energy work to their clients. So it's a day-and-a-half long intensive.
That's great. It sounds really, really awesome. So for listeners out there, if you're interested, please contact Paul directly. And he has 2 websites, aestheticsensations.com and also sensualreiki.org. Okay, so this one is for the men. So I want to ask what advice you have for men when it comes to raising sexual energy. Say they're completely new to these things. What is the easiest way for them to get started?
Yeah, I meant to mention that when we were talking about that earlier. Generally, I work with women, so it's what I say is usually geared towards women. But
I know
men have to understand. Men have to understand that they hold all this same thing within them as well, and they can utilize their sexual energy for more confidence, to have an edge in the business world, to have better relationships with people, and again, to tap into that creativity that lies within them for whatever it is they want to do with it. Men, it's a little tougher to tap into our sexuality because, since day one, when we're born, we're told what we're supposed to be, quote unquote, as men. You're supposed to be tough. You're supposed to be strong. You're not supposed to show emotion. You're not supposed to feel certain things. Well, that's not true, because as a human, you're built to feel certain things. Some of them happen to be more softer emotions. When you can actually get past the ego, when you can actually get past that male pride and just let the energy build within you and flow, you start to feel things you didn't realize were even possible for a man. Like, a man is perfectly capable of having almost all the same types of orgasms that women are. They're capable of extended orgasms, multiple orgasms, energy orgasms, all these beautiful things that we're not taught we can do. We're taught, you ejaculate, that's it, you're done. But it's not true. We're just energetic beings, the same as women, and we are capable of all types of different pleasure, the same as women. So that type of knowledge for a man to be able to tap into and understand about himself is incredibly powerful for self-knowledge, for self-development, for that type of transformation that we've been talking about. To take your game to the next level, we'll say, or to take your life to the next level.
Yeah. Great.
Yeah. I do have an... Okay, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, you go ahead. Go ahead. We're just about to end very soon. So is there anything else you'd like to add?
Well, yeah, I do have an exercise. Actually, I'm going to put it up on the website. Anybody who signs up for my newsletter, I'm going to give them a little video of this exercise and how they can do it. But to get the idea of what sexual energy is, how powerful it can be, what it feels like, is I have a simple little practice. And it's been called a bunch of different things. I have a friend in New Jersey, the Reverend Goddess Charmaine. She calls it Stop, Start to the Heart. I like that, so I use it. What it is masturbation. You masturbate almost to the point of climax. But before you get to climax, you stop. Take that energy, that big ball of energy that you just created down in your pelvis, and raise it up through your body. You can raise it up via breath. You can raise it up via putting your hand on your pelvis and visualize raising the energy up through your body. But bring that energy that you have just built, bring it up to your heart. Physically raise it up to your heart and let it sit there and just feel what is going on inside you. Feel all your cells open up. Feel the vibrancy that's now within you that you just created, that energy you just created. And then let it dissipate. And then do it again. Bring yourself almost to the point of climax, raise it up again to your heart, and let it dissipate. I usually give this to homework for a lot of my clients, and now I'm just going to give it away free with signing up for the newsletter. But doing this 2 or 3 times, and then by all means, let yourself have a climax, an orgasm. You built up that energy. You earned it. You deserve it. But by pulling this up to your body and letting it sit there in your chest, you begin to feel the power of this type of energy that is sitting inside you. And then you can start to imagine all the wonderful things that you can do with it. That's the easiest way I know of to be able to tell people or to show them, this is your energy, it's inside you, and this is a beginning of the power it has.
Great. And thank you very much, Paul, for your gift. And remember to tune in next week to Arrow's Evolution. We'll have Mitchell Tapper, and we're going to be talking about love after war. So tune in to Arrow's Evolution next week. Have a great week ahead.